We're here today to talk about the skills gap, or the great crew change as it was first dubbed, right? And what does that mean? What is that defined as? So I took some notes and I came up with this definition, right? The great crew change, or the skills gap in energy, chemical, and petrochemical midstream industries, and it refers to retirement of older workers in the field and lack of younger, mid-level professionals with the required skills to replace them, bringing the age in the skills gap, making the age in the skills gap still one of the greatest challenges we're facing in industry today. And I think everybody would agree to that. That's why we're here today, right? So a few facts before we get started. The average age of manufacturing workforce in North America varies by sector, but generally trends towards older demographics. As of the latest data, the average is around 44 to 48 years old, and some industries skewing older due to experienced workers staying in the field longer. The average age of retirement and in manufacturing tends to be slightly higher than national average due to factors like pension eligibility and job stability. I'm new at this, so forgive me if I stumble. On average, manufacturing workers in North America retire between the ages of 62 and 65. And although this can vary depending on individual circumstances and industry trends, this puts us squarely in the time frame and the age gap discussed about our mentors and mid-level membership SMEs. So with that, a little bit of something to think about today. We have a really good agenda. I'm excited. For those of y'all who don't know, this is our third annual Skills Gap Summit. We started this back in Baton Rouge in 2021 with about 47 people. Last year, Jim Griffith was gracious enough to host us at San Jacinto College. We doubled that. We had about 80, almost 90. And today we had nearly 200 registrations, right? And we have the group that we have today. So I want to thank y'all for being here today to support this. With that, I'm going to get it started. David Gosnay from LyondellBasell. Let me tell you a little bit about David. David currently works for LyondellBasell and is responsible for training and leadership development for operations and maintenance at the Channelview facility. Again, David's been with us 3 years now, so thank you for always being part of this. David started his 45 career as an operations technician and has held various roles in operations leadership, including operations manager in his current role. In his current role, David leads workforce development initiatives with a local community college, as we have represented here today. He's created a veterans educational benefits program and leads a collaborative hiring process that links industry and education. David is the chairman of the board of directors for the North American Process Technology Alliance, and he serves on the San Jacinto College Chancellor Advisory Panel and numerous community advisory projects. So today, please welcome David Gosnay. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the third annual Skills Gap Conference. I've had the privilege to speak, open up all three of those, and as Paul said, this has really grown, and I appreciate Vuvio for putting this on and the importance they place on this, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak to y'all this morning. All right, so I think Paul teed it up and really identified the issues. And so I'm going to try to tie this together that I think we could all agree that a experienced and well-trained workforce it makes a safe plant or a safe environment for us. And so I'm going to try to use an analogy for that. And the analogy that I'm going to use is trees, and not just any tree, but the California redwood trees. And so I've always been fascinated with these trees, and I think they're extremely unique. And so this safety moment might be a little bit different, but hopefully you find it a little bit interesting. And so first thing about these trees is they only grow on the Pacific coast. It's the only place in the world that these trees grow. If you want to see a redwood, a California redwood, you're going to have to go to Northern California or Southern Oregon to see them. There's no other place in the world that they grow. The other thing is that they're over 2,000 years old. In fact, the oldest redwood tree on record is over 2,500 years old. That's 500 years BC. So let that soak in for a minute. So the other thing is the tallest tree on record is over 350 foot tall, although they're generally between 250 and 300 feet. And they weigh over 1 million pounds. The other thing about them is the bark. The bark's about a foot thick. It contains tannin, which is this resin that has properties in it that makes the tree resist fire. And there's no known enemies, no known natural enemies to the redwood trees. They resist disease, they resist fungus, and they also, there's no insect that can destroy this tree. And so I think that makes it extremely unique tree, extremely fascinating. And so there is a natural enemy, though. There is one natural enemy to the tree, and that is wind. Wind is the only enemy to this tree. And the reason for that is because a 300-foot redwood tree, the roots on that are 6 foot deep. And so I know we have a diverse group in here, some industry partners and some educational partners, but the industry, or even if you just go down Highway 225 and you see these plants, just pick out the tallest tower there, and the redwood trees are taller than that. And the root system is this deep. And so a 350 or 300-foot tall tree, 6-foot root system, weighing over 1 million pounds. So how do they stand, right? How do they stand? Does anybody have any ideas on how they stand? Nobody? They lock together. They lock together. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. They have this strong foundation. And so basically, even though the root system goes 6 foot deep, they grow out 100 feet. And the roots grow into each other. And they create this very strong network that allows the trees to stand up and weather the perfect storm. And so if you take that analogy and you realize that we've been going down this path of a skills gap, so you could take this analogy and you could apply it to yourself individually, your individual places of business, and that could be you got all these safety systems, these processes and people and policies and training programs and all these things that should grow together to make this strong system, right? This strong foundation. But then if you overlay that with everything that Paul talked about and the purpose of this conference, we've got aging workforce where we've got experience leaving, and what are we doing about knowledge capture? You got a workforce that we're bringing in that don't have the same skill set and competencies that they've had in years past. You've got the digital age that's coming. You've got the energy transition. You've got all these things that are creating problems for all of us. And so, but then that brings us to this conference, right? And we have all the right people in this room. We've got the right industry partners. We've got the right educational partners. We've got the right vendors. And so we've got this diversity of thought. And so today what I want you to think about is if everybody in this room, if we build this network, if we build this strong foundation, then we'll be able to resolve this issue that we have around all these skills gaps affecting everybody. It's all the same for all of us. And so back to the redwood trees, if you see a redwood tree that's fallen in the forest, the main cause of that is it's outgrowing by itself, and it's not close enough to the rest of the trees for its root system to grow into the network. And so it's not strong enough to withstand the storm when it comes. And so I believe if we build this network and we really grow into each other and have this diversity of thought, then we'll build the foundation that we need to solve these problems that this conference is all about. And so I usually tell a joke, and I don't want to disappoint, so I'm going to tell a joke. And I only got one joke. I tried for it to be topical. I've only got one joke that has anything to do with the tree. So there's this turkey and this bull, and they're standing out in this field, and the turkey looks kind of sad. So the bull comes over and says, "Yeah, Mr. Turkey, I noticed you're kind of despondent. What's the problem?" He goes, "Well, I've always wanted to climb this tree, and I'm not built for it, and I've tried everything." He said, "You tried everything?" He said, "I've tried everything." "Have you tried eating some of my bull dung? Because it's packed with vitamins and nutrients that might help you." He said, "I'm willing to try." So the turkey nibbled on a little bit of the bull dung, felt kind of energetic, started climbing, and he got up to the first branch of the tree, and he goes, "Wow, that's awesome." So next morning he wakes up, he eats a little bit more of the bull dung, gets to the second branch. He repeats this process all week. And by the end of the week, he eats enough bull dung, he climbs all the way to the top of that tree. He's in the top of the tree, he looks down at the bull, and he says, Mr. Bull, look at me, I'm up here. So about that time, this farmer walks out and he sees this turkey on the top of the tree. He gets his rifle out, shoots him dead to the ground. And so the moral of the story is that BS can get you to the top, but it ain't going to keep you there. So the moral of that story is there is no substitute for hard work. And it's going to take hard work if we're going to solve these problems. And just like I said, we've got the right people in the room. So engage in the content, engage in the conference, and let's see if we can solve this together. So thank you for Vuvio for putting this on, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.